I don't know if I like this shirt.
Well,
a little late for that.
Yep.
I got another one upstairs.
Nope.
Yeah,
Y'all
we're
look
here
like
now.
nice, and I have on like my jacket.
You got your current kids
Your
logos
your
going on?
brand.
I'm logoed.
It's so funny. Like I put this shirt on this morning. My wife's like, "Oh, you look so nice." It's like it's a T-shirt. Just because it has buttons, somehow.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
it could. It's exactly like that. I mean, it could just have a little bit of color because I always wear dark.
Yep.
And if I have something that has color in it, oh my gosh, that shirt looks so good on you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not my mom. Like, you don't have to tell me how handsome
You're not
I
my
am.
mom.
Oh, you look so good.
That's right. That's exactly what my mom would say. That's exactly what my mom would say. She would say it exactly like that. She would say, "Mijo." That's right.
I know I
That's
bet your mom.
Oh my god.
Good.
She loves her mijo.
Mm-hmm. Yes, she does. I'm her favorite. That's for sure.
Well, duh. That's a given, right?
That's right. I'll make her say it in front of me.
The people need to see the real current
That's
staff
right. That's
culture.
right. That's exactly
When Karla punches us?
That's right.
That's right.
She's threatened all of us so far.
That's right.
To be fair, I don't know if it's threat so much as just
Warnings.
warning. Yeah, right. Just letting you
He's
know.
the one that punches when he gets excited about something or like he thinks something's funny. Like a good old like.
I've never been punched by Darren.
Oh
so
my
that's-
I think it's just you.
And it's not like a tap. It's like a.
I don't really remember that. I'm
You
sorry.
always do that.
Okay.
All right, this just
When
in.
something's
Good to know.
funny, especially.
Darren
Okay.
punches people when he's excited.
That's right. That's
It's good to know. Okay. All right, we ready to start for real now?
Mhm.
Okay.
For reals.
All right, here we go.
Wow.
Well, thank you everyone for joining the WIN meeting today. Our biggest one so far. Got 4 people here today. It's wonderful. Yeah, I'm not talking about like size.
I was gonna say.
Most people. I mean,
He was looking right at me when he said it.
I suppose purely by math. You know, this may be our biggest, and then just you know, that's how it goes. But anyway, so thanks for being here.
Sure.
That's a good way to start.
Yes.
Yeah, love it. Great. Great.
You guys have all been on the podcast, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about who everybody is. But Karla, Darren, Tim, I'm Jeremiah, and if this is your first time jumping in, you should probably start earlier because this might be a rough one to jump in on.
They won't go back and watch it again
No.
after this one.
They've already switched to a different.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
And there goes the listener.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are talking about Easter. We had Easter this last weekend. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Lots of really great things, and there was a ton going on.
Yeah.
One, which was really great, but 2, it really just all God worked in a lot of ways, and so we got we have a few stories to tell and some things to share, and so we want to do that. Let's kind of do it in sequential order, so to speak. So we picked up basically students on Wednesday.
That's right.
Had a egg hunt.
That's right.
Did it in the church.
It did
because
it in the church.
Was pouring
Because
crazy
it was
rain.
pouring rain, yeah. And so which the kids loved because
Yeah.
we had all the lights off and these glow in the dark eggs.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
So except for the glowness of the eggs started to wear off.
Oh.
Probably like 30 minutes before we were going to start. So the kids were like, they come back. It's like, they spent 45 minutes and they're like, we can't find any more eggs. And there were still a ton of eggs missing. And so we were like, well, we know there's still eggs out there because we had counted them all. And so we're like, okay, let's just turn on the lights for them. They can
Yeah.
go.
Because obviously you have to turn on the lights and then in the egg.
Yeah.
And then hide them.
Right.
Way before the kids get there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, because,
The
we
glow
did.
sticks only last for a couple hours.
Yeah, and it was just little glow sticks that we had in there. And I mean, literally, as soon as we broke them, put them in there, hid them, and then went back to the room just with the lights off. You couldn't even see them. And you were like, I said, this is
It's
not
truly
gonna-
a challenge.
It's-
Truly.
yeah.
Yep.
But no, it was. I mean, it was fun. The kids had a lot of fun that day, and I mean, when you can do anything inside, like when you're running around, it's one thing when you're running around outside having fun, but it's different feel when you're inside. It's raining outside.
Yeah.
Kids are just having it was great.
It reminds me of like growing up in the church and playing hide and seek.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
like
Sunday
a
mornings.
lock-in.
It's like,
Yeah, absolutely.
You feel like you're being naughty, but you have
Yeah.
permission.
Yeah,
But it's
that's right.
great because
Yeah.
I'm
own the
allowed to
place,
do this.
like you own the place.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
That's cool.
We had a lot of cool prizes though. Like
Yeah, what'd you put in there?
So all of them had just numbers because we didn't want them to know what they got. We didn't want them to open it and be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I don't want that," and then put it back,
uh-huh.
right? So we just had numbers, and then they'd take it to somebody who was sitting with this sheet, and they're like, "Okay, this is what they win." But we didn't tell them. We told them all after they were all found.
Yeah.
And so, but we had prizes like, we're taking eight kids to play top golf. We're doing a
What?
sleepover in the source.
I'm getting in the egg
That's
hunt.
fun.
Right?
I want to top golf.
Yeah.
But first of all, I'm in the wrong ministry apparently. Hey, Darren,
Yeah.
we've got a
Egg
team
hunt.
thing we got to do. We're
Yeah.
going to Six Flags. It's
Yeah.
for
That's
team
right,
building.
Right, that's right.
Yep.
You're gonna reimburse me for that, right? No, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to create we wanted to give them these prizes where we got to interact with the kids
Yeah.
a lot. So it's a lot of things where it's the student
Yeah.
ministry interacting with a smaller group of kids, junior
That's
and high
awesome.
school.
So
Yeah,
experiences instead of
right. Yeah, instead of just
Stuff.
Cash and
give
prizes.
cash and candies and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
cool.
one of but what the biggest prize was we gave away a parking spot. Like they get their own parking spot here at church on Sunday
Nice.
morning.
I
So-
want that.
So, well, but there's a cool story there. So, there was somebody who found it, didn't want it. They're
Okay.
like, you know what? I'll trade it for some. We allowed them to trade if they wanted to.
that's
So that made it a little cooler.
Yeah.
But there was somebody who wanted, and I mean, I guess it's okay to say his name because he's really the hero of this story. Josh Rojas.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So Braden's little brother.
Okay.
He
won the parking spot?
No, he traded for it, and because he really wanted the parking
Isn't
spot.
he like 12?
Yeah, he doesn't even
Yeah,
drive.
okay.
But he really wanted the parking spot because
That's good.
we're going to put their name. Hopefully, we can get a picture of them on
Yeah.
there. We're going to put it out by the
That's
source.
hilarious.
And so, but there was somebody else who wanted it, and so he was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it to them.
Oh wow.
And so he gives it to them.
That's
Nice.
nice.
And doesn't even ask it. He doesn't do a trade or anything. Just gives it. And I told Tina and Caleb, I said, we're doing 2 parking spots.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love it.
we're gonna, the person
Love
he
it.
gave it to, and Josh gets his own parking spot
Nice.
for his parents.
Yeah, Darren,
obviously.
that's a great
Right.
that's a great story. We're starting this new series on
Yeah.
generosity coming up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That, and not to get way off track here, this is an Easter recap podcast, but man,
That's cool.
the purity of
nice.
that kind of heart, man, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and maturity of that's really
I
cool.
mean, and the person he gave it to was just in tears,
Yeah.
like
Wow.
bawling, and
Was it
and-
you?
yeah, that's right. Darren
I don't
gets
have
his
my
own
own
parking
parking
spot.
I should have said it was you because you're the one who cries all the time.
Yeah, well, I have my parking spot because I'm here at 6:30
That's true.
on
That's
Sunday,
right,
so
that's right.
don't worry.
Park wherever you want.
Park wherever you
Yeah,
want.
there's plenty to choose from.
Right.
And I do cry a little bit sometimes.
do.
Slide into the parking spot at 6:30. Why am I here? There's a little bit of crying that happens
Very
every
early.
now and then.
That's right.
It's so early.
Very early.
Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Though.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
really
it
great.
was really cool. And I mean, when I was just like, okay, this kid, you gotta love the kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's
You got,
amazing.
I was just like, that's the kind of heart I wish, like
Yeah.
that's what you want those kids to be like.
We wanna
Just
reward that.
Right. And so and I wasn't going to tell him that he gets a free, but I was like, hey dude, you're getting your own parking spot. too.
Yeah.
So it was really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Is this
Love
the
it.
first time? This is the first time we ever done that, right?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
this is the first.
We always have the chase in the fall.
Right, yeah.
What do we
So
call
this
this?
was
The
kind of
hunt?
like this is kind of like the chase where we
pretty cool.
usually hide
It
the
is cool.
pumpkins and there's a dollar amount
Yeah.
on the side and the kids go find it. Well, yeah. So this we were like, you know what? Let's do something for Easter.
Yeah.
Kids, I mean, my oldest is 30. He still loves to go find an Easter egg.
Right?
Like, so I
Yes.
don't want to just
Is there
assume
money
that
in
they're
this?
they're
You're
in
right.
high school and they're not going to want to do this.
Because most egg
anymore.
hunts are for like little kids.
Right,
So
yes,
like
right.
that's like fun
Yes.
for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So
Well, and this is a hunt too,
Yeah.
like well hidden.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
that's really cool.
yeah,
And the experience thing is really what a great idea.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I love the potential of especially with that age of kids putting just different kids together that don't necessarily normally
Right.
hang out together or whatever. Like the 8 kids that go to Topgolf, that's by the
Yeah.
egg. It's not just a
Right,
group of
yeah, it
friends
wasn't-
that gets
right.
to go, and so they
That's
get
right.
to make new relationships.
That's right.
And maybe be somebody a little different than what they're used to fitting in a certain
Yeah.
spot. So that's really, man, what
Yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and just
That's
being able
really
to create
cool.
these environments where us, the student team, gets to hang out with them,
Yeah.
because we hang out
Yeah.
with them on Sunday and on Wednesday nights, you know.
Yeah.
But we don't get that smaller interaction with them, the smaller intimate groups of kids, and like you said, all different ages, all different grades.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to all. I mean, there was like 26 different things that we're going to be doing with them.
Wow.
And I was telling Tina, I was like, why do we hate free time?
I was
Like,
gonna say,
why do we hate
you
free
realize
time?
what you signed up for.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
and that's a
really
great way
cool.
to be
Yeah, that's
busy.
really
That's really cool. Yeah, so that was Wednesday,
Mhm.
and then Friday we started the Easter experience. We
Yeah.
had a little worship night thing that night. But why don't you talk about the Easter experience a little bit? Friday and Saturday, and all the setup and all this. You guys were working on it for about 3-4 weeks beforehand,
Yeah.
as far as the actual setup of things. And,
Yeah.
and just give them a little inside look at, because it was amazing.
Yeah.
And Darren and I were talking yesterday. Huge, like vast step up
Yeah.
in difference of what we were able to
Wow.
do.
Yeah.
I say we, what y'all were able to do last couple years, And so anyway, yeah, just
Yeah, so it was amazing. So the last few years we have done it outside.
Yeah.
That was partially because of COVID.
right.
That we were trying to move it outside so people could still be a part
That's
of
right,
it. So we
yeah.
moved it outside in 2020, and then or 2021, and then at the beginning of this year, when the elders and Darren were like, "You got to do it inside. Like it's time to move it inside. It's time to really go for it." So we were excited about like the possibilities of it, and then we got in the space and we're like, "How do we do this? How do we do this? This is a huge, big.
This is a big room.
It's a big room, and
Yeah.
there's no walls. And how do you anyway? So
yeah.
so yeah, we spent a lot of time like drawing out maps and trying to figure it out. So when we got in there, it was so cool to first of all to have the freedom to do things that we hadn't been able to do
Yeah.
outdoors.
Yeah.
And then to have the time and the space to do things like just bump it. Everything just got bumped up a little bit, which was really cool. We had like special effects with lightning clouds, and we were able to do a different kind of decorating that we couldn't do outside. And like you said about the hunt, like that the week before Easter, it stormed. Like we had
Every day.
torrential,
Yeah.
horrible hail,
Yeah.
Yeah.
tornado
The
warnings.
golf ball size hail in my house.
right.
Yes.
And like every day we were like,
Oh.
if we were outside, we'd be done.
Yeah.
Like we would
Yeah,
have to have,
literally.
we would had to have canceled it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everything
Well,
would have
all
been
would
destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, one night we were there, or the Wednesday night of the hunt, we were inside and we were working on some stuff inside, and the hail. We could hear the hail on the roof, and we were like, oh my gosh, we would be done. I would
Yeah.
be going home crying
Yeah.
right now. So
Yeah.
It was such an immersive environment.
Yeah.
Like you were in there and like you forgot you were even in the source.
That's right.
You guys did just such an amazing job of making it feel real and getting people into every scene. I thought it was so cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was cool that we were able to do because it was inside. We didn't get torn down or blown over in any of the
Yeah.
storms.
Yeah.
So we actually finished. We were ready to roll by Thursday. Like
Mhm.
everything was set by Thursday. Our staff did a really cool prayer
Yes,
time in
that
there
was cool.
Thursday morning.
Yeah, that was great.
Prayed over the whole experience, and then Thursday all day during the day, the kids that come to school here on Thursdays, the KCA kids were able to walk through it and have an experience. Not with the actors and everything, but they were able
Right.
to walk through, and we had some like little signs up so they knew what the scenes were.
Mhm.
So that was really cool. And then Friday, yeah, we were ready to roll on Friday, opening Friday evening. And then that was nice because it was coinciding with the worship service over here.
Right.
So we kind of had people coming and going to worship service that
Yes.
also were walking through it, which was really cool. So that first night, man, it just like created this buzz.
Yes.
Like people were really excited, like
Lots of pictures.
lots
and
of
videos,
pictures.
and-
Yes. So that like created energy with us because we finally got this, like finally people are seeing what we
Yeah.
have known is going to be so cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, that started on Friday.
How many non-staff people were involved in the like building and the acting and all that kind of stuff?
I don't even know. Dozens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
we had we had several like work days
Yes,
on
yeah.
Saturdays. So the first work day we did on a Saturday, we had at least 25 people here
Wow.
that were working, just families within our church. spouses. I think the spouses of the staff are like the unsung heroes
For sure.
in all ways.
One in particular.
Yeah.
George
Soto.
is the like Batman
Yeah,
of our church.
that's right.
He is
Like,
the goat.
That's
Very
right.
I
few
mean-
people know what he does and
Yeah.
who he is necessarily. But
Yeah.
seriously.
Seriously.
Every big thing we do, y'all, like the Christmas Eve
Yeah.
Eve stuff.
Yes.
George is doing something behind
Yeah,
the scenes.
that's right.
Most of it.
Yes.
Like,
That's right.
Yes.
he's doing all the
heavy
all
lifting.
the building,
Yeah.
the
And it's
literal
not,
heavy
it's
lifting.
not because Nikki's telling him to do it. His
No,
wife,
it's
like
just
he's
who he
just
is.
doing it because
Yeah.
he wants to do
Yeah.
it. Like he's just got that kind of heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's awesome.
on a Sunday morning, on just a regular Sunday morning, he's the guy that's in the nursery holding the babies.
Holding babies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he's amazing.
I think that's his therapy.
I think it is too.
Like, he has to do all
Yeah.
this
That's right.
Yeah.
hard work, all that stuff, and like gets to hold the baby.
Yeah.
That's great.
But then, and Tim's wife, Chantel, like she
Oh,
was,
yes, yeah.
she was amazing in helping with checking folks in and making sure they were getting like
Yeah.
into the scenes.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean seriously, so many.
Well, even
so many
that
people.
whole thing, I don't know. I mean, there were. So I brought our family came Saturday morning,
yeah.
which was awesome.
Saturday was Saturday morning was a whole
nother
special thing. Yeah.
because it had the petting zoo
Yes.
and the
Mhm.
face painting and
Mhm.
which
Crafts
kids love all those things.
Yeah.
But even with that, talking about the volunteers, there's probably 20, 30 people
Yeah.
outside helping
Yeah.
with
Yes.
those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another 10 or 15 inside,
Mhm.
making sure that everybody was moving through quickly and smoothly. And
Yeah.
my favorite part, though, honestly, was the touch and
Interactive.
taste
Yeah.
and smell
that
things
was
so
over here.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
When we say
that was
Easter
cool.
experience, we
Mhm.
talked about this when we were talking about the marketing part of it.
Mhm.
How important it is to envelop all of the senses,
Yeah.
and it really did that. And you get to like pick something and you smell what myrrh smells like.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you pick up and the weight of the cross.
Yeah.
And understand. And my son Caleb, he grabs it with two hands. He's like, whoa! He picks it up. He's like, I can't hardly even lift that.
Yeah.
But that sits in differently,
Yeah,
especially,
that's right.
and I mean adults too.
Sure.
It changes your perception of, like, yeah, we have an idea of what that was like, but put that thing on your shoulder and walk with that up a hill. Like
Right.
the all those things that were, it was just so good. It was
Yeah.
so good and so impactful.
It was really cool. The interactive room was new this year.
Yes.
And it was kind of a holding room before they actually went to the walkthrough. And that was actually Darren's idea to do the 5 senses and
Yeah.
to have something for each of the 5 senses, which I thought was so cool.
Yes.
But I got to be in there quite a bit on Saturday and just kind of watching people as they were walking through it. And it was so neat to see how different things would connect with different
Yes.
people.
Mhm.
Like some people were really, really enthralled with like the aloe and the myrrh. Like this is like smelling it. And like this is they would like
Yeah.
hold it to their friend and like smell it. The lifting of the crossbeam. There was one woman who came in and she was older and she was trying to lift it and she like got tears in her eyes and she had her granddaughters with her and she was like, "You guys have to come over here and like try." And she read the whole thing to them about how much it weighed and she, can you imagine Jesus after he'd been beaten was trying to carry this up a hill and like she really connected with that physical, like trying to lift the weight of the beam. So it was really cool. Just and there was some of the like there was one guy who I know him and he's kind of an intellectual thinker. Like he really like thinks deeply about like school things, smart things. And he stood at the map of Jerusalem for like 5
Yes.
minutes and just
Yes.
was
Oh,
like
yeah.
looking at all the things, like trying to figure out where in Jerusalem the things were happening.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really cool how there was
That's
something
awesome.
for everyone,
Yes.
which was really neat.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 actors in there.
Yeah. So we
Um,
had, I think there's 12 altogether.
okay, so
Yeah.
And they were, every single one of them did a great job.
We did.
And I don't know how many hours they were running those lines, and
Yeah.
but it was a long time.
Yeah.
2 full days worth.
Yes. They said those lines over and over and over.
They're
and
gonna
over
find new
again.
actors next year because they're gonna hate those lines.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna have to
Yeah.
rewrite rewrite the script or something. Because, but it was really really great. And then the last room with the response room was really cool.
Yeah.
Why don't you describe that a little bit for those who might not have come through?
Yeah, so at the end of the walkthrough, we wanted an area for people to have a place to respond because, when you experience something like that, you naturally want to do something or say something or, you want to respond in some way. So we wanted an area where they could write down a prayer
Yeah.
or a thought or a feeling about what they'd experienced. And most of them were, gratitude to the Lord for
Yeah.
the things that he's done, which was amazing just to see those prayers. So we asked one of our volunteers, Ashley Friedel, is an
Yeah.
interior designer.
Yes.
And she came up when we were doing signups for volunteers for Easter, and I had known her from Bible study and stuff, but I didn't know she was an interior designer. And she walked up and she was like, "Hey, I work from home. This is what I do. I'm not sure how I could help, but I'm willing to help." And we were like, "Okay." We write your name down. And then we didn't really think about it anymore after that, and until like a couple weeks before Easter. And Nikki and I were talking about this response room. We had this idea, but we really didn't have time
Yeah.
to do it with all the other things that we were
Right.
trying to manage. And so I was laying in bed that night and I was like, Ashley, I'm going to ask Ashley to do it. So I came on Sunday morning and I saw Ashley and I was like, "Hey, we have this idea, response room. Would you be willing?" And she was like, "That sounds cool." And then I went my way and she went her way and we were busy. Monday morning before I got to work, I had an email from her and she was like, "Hey, I'm really excited about this response room. Can I come over and meet with you guys and talk about
Yeah.
it?" So she came over. She just made this beautiful room. There were places where you could clip on your prayer cards with, clothespins. And it was really, I loved that room. It's one of my favorite parts.
Super well done.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was
Yep.
beautiful.
Capitalizing on that momentum
Yes.
of walking through that, and even just somebody writing down
Yeah.
what they're feeling or thinking at that time.
Right.
Such an important part of the experience piece.
Yeah.
It's marking that moment.
Right.
It's what you'll remember what you said about it after the end of it, and that keeps that the realizations or whatever you had as you went through that alive.
Yeah.
And which is the whole point of where our whole weekend was even still today. Which even that whole thing is really cool too, how that came about. So
Yeah.
this was actually in the conversation of talking about how do we promote the Easter experience
Right.
stuff. And this is before we even knew what the Easter experience was actually going to look like.
Yeah.
This is all
This is months ago. Yeah.
right, yeah. And we were just trying to what's something we could kind of latch onto, and Karla was reading through some of the script for the thing, and at the end of it there was a phrase in there that even still today, Jesus lives, and I was like, that's the one. Because it's not just that Easter day that we celebrate. It is, and it's not something that he just did
Right.
that one time, and that yes, that was accomplished and finished. But today he lives and continues to, and what just a wonderful thing to, and even more fitting. We're in the Action Transformation Celebration thing and celebration, and even so, just all God brought all those things together, which was really awesome.
Yeah.
And there was such cohesion with. Somebody said something earlier, like, are people going to get confused? Like, what's the experience? What's the services? I don't think so. And there was, and in fact, the opposite.
Yeah.
I felt like everything.
Gelled well.
Yeah, it all just played together. All
complemented
so
each
well.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then Friday, you meant we had the worship time in the auditorium, which kind of came out of idea of some of the student worship team of wanting to do. Same deal. Initially, it was supposed to be out of Cross Plaza.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
But it
The
was
weather.
But it was raining, and
Weather.
we didn't know what
Huge surprise.
That's right.
We planned something outside and the weather doesn't cooperate.
every time.
Literally every time.
Yeah.
You know what we need to do? Plan it inside.
Yes. And then
Secretly plan it outside.
They were
when
gonna trick the
weather's
weather.
Ah!
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think it works like that.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But it was really great. It was just like 45 minutes or so. We sang
Yeah.
and prayed, and having something that, like you said, people can kind of come in and out of a little bit to just attach those things to. And it's, I don't know, probably 100, 150 people were in there most of the time. And
Yeah.
Darren, you mentioned to me yesterday, it was just, even for you personally, it was such a great way to start the weekend going in.
yeah, I really needed it, and I was on Friday morning. You have kind of Easter weekend ahead of you. It's a very big weekend, really important. You want your heart and mind set on the Lord and thinking about those things. But I just felt, like a big heavy cloud over me, and I couldn't really explain it. And but I just felt a heaviness and just kind of like, man, I'm just on the verge here of just, I don't know. Despair is like too big a word, but I think it was kind of a spiritual, battle. And I went to the service, and I'm just like, yeah, this is exactly what I needed. I just needed to kind of refocus my heart and mind and be reminded of, the goodness of God. And one of my favorite songs that we sang was Son of Suffering that night. There's a God who weeps, there's a God who bleeds. And it's like, man, God sees us in all these moments and is with us through these things. And it just really, it got me back on track for the rest of the weekend.
And it is a big, we can talk for a minute about how we all approach Easter weekend, because I mean, people kind of know, but it's hard to really convey if you're not in like ministry full time and all that stuff. What we talked about this a little bit when we did the podcast conversation, just the two of us, but the pressure and there's just a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot that rides for us on Easter weekend. It just does. It's the most attended Sunday of the year. It's it's all these things all together, and it is a big deal. And we want everything to go so right, and we want everything to come off so well. And and there's tons of work. We said the Easter experience of 3-4 weeks of not just thinking and ideating. That all happened before that. And then it's physical labor of long days of putting that time in and doing this stuff, and even going. It's just it goes across all those things, and so we get tired, and there's a balance of finding how do we come into that weekend as leaders in all of our own capacities. How do we go into that weekend full, not running on empty? So I'm curious a little bit. I'd love for you guys to share a little bit, like, what's your and you just pray a lot and hold on tight and hope you make it through. Like, do you have any little things that you do?
I think, I'm with Darren, that Friday, worship service. Like, I got there and, I'm like, I was like, it's, part of students. So of course I'm going to be there, but I didn't think that it was going to hit me like it did. Like I was, you were making fun of him for crying, but I cry all the time. Like I always cry. Like I can't. And so like I just remember, and I was standing next to you and Rich, when we were in the worship service, and I just was like, these guys are gonna think I'm a big baby because I could not stop crying, and it was just overwhelming. But I think because all the way up until that Friday, we had just been so busy. We had been doing so much and just running around getting everything ready. That we had to we needed that to get pulled back in to kind of remind us, hey, this is what we're there's a purpose for all of this. There's a purpose for why we're doing all of this. And it's to let a lot of those folks who are going to be here that weekend to know about Jesus and what he did and that he rose again, And so like it was, but up until that point, I was with you. I was like, oh man, it's Friday. It hasn't even started and I'm tired, And so, but I needed that. I think I needed that too. So that was my thing, once I got that under my belt, once that was like, I felt renewed, I felt like, okay, I can make it through the weekend. I know Sunday though, at 12:30, whenever service was over, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I need a nap or something.
Now you didn't get to go to worship on Friday night, so how did you make it through the weekend?
I didn't. So it's interesting that you asked that, because I think when you're doing this a long time, you kind of know that Easter's going to be like a thing. And so you have to be intentional about the leading up to and even the afterwards. So there's little tricks and things that I do. Like I always watch the movie Risen the week of Easter. Like I have a time, I'm going to sit and I'm going to watch this movie. And like, for whatever reason, that really gets my brain focused on the actual thing.
That's cool.
And so I do the same thing at Christmas. I always watch the Nativity Story movie before for Christmas, because I know that that's going to get my brain on the right thing. And then I think for me, I didn't get to do the Friday thing, but the staff prayer time on Thursday morning was kind of the thing that prepped my heart and really got me back on focus.
Oh, that's cool.
And I, it's so silly, but I had been immersed in the source and setting up for 2.5 weeks. I'd been in that room for weeks, literally, 10 hours a day.
Seeing it all
Yeah.
build.
Seeing,
seeing
yes.
it, yeah.
I had, helped plug in lights, and I had done all the things.
Yeah, the magic is gone. Like, you know how it all works. It's
Yeah,
like-
I've seen behind the curtain, I know.
Right.
But that day when we walked through each scene,
Mm.
it like I was emotional about it. Like
Yeah.
it
me
was
too.
it was
Yeah.
very real. Like
You
it
saw
was
in a fresh way.
yes, it was like this is a real thing. Like this is
Mhm.
going to impact people's lives. And so
Yes.
like for me that was the thing that got me kind of focused and ready for the weekend.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I think. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think it's also important to note, like in staff world, ministry staff, I think it's also important to note that the aftercare is important as the pre-care
Mm.
because like,
Yep.
like we're wiped
Yeah.
after weekend
Mhm.
like
You
that.
should, and you should be.
Yes.
You should leave it all on the field. Like, it's,
Yeah.
that's
So this
the way
is
it should go.
this is a quick funny story, but Saturday night after everything was done, we stayed and cleaned up everything. Like
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's gone.
okay, well.
yeah, like
Guess I'm
everything
doing
went
this
away.
right now.
Everything went away. Everything went back to storage Saturday
Incredible,
night.
yeah.
And so like, we stayed until 9:30 or 9:45 putting it away, and we're walking to our cars and Jen Henning, who's on my staff team, she is
And
like,
this is our first.
it's
this
our
is our
first
first on
Easter,
staff,
first
right?
Easter on staff. She says,
Welcome to the team.
I know. So we're all like, okay, we'll see you in the morning. We'll see you tomorrow. And she's like, you guys are kidding, right? And we were like, no, we'll see you tomorrow. And she was like, we're off tomorrow, aren't we? Isn't it? She thought it was Monday.
Oh,
And I was
we
like,
got a whole
I
Monday to
know.
go.
I was like, Jen, tomorrow's Easter Sunday. And she was like, no! She had forgotten that we had
What
3
else can we do?
services yet to do
Yes.
on Easter
Oh, I
Sunday.
know that. That's
That's
We were so
hilarious.
tired. We were so tired. But anyway, all I was going to say is I think the aftercare is
That's
important too,
hilarious.
because you're going to come off of that weekend
It's true.
wiped out
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
exhausted. And it's
Physically,
really,
mentally, emotionally, all
yes.
spiritually. Yeah.
I think it's easy to get here on the day after or the week after and be like, this is too hard. I can't do this anymore.
Yep.
And to make a trigger decision of like, this isn't for me kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I think you need to take care of your soul and take care
Yeah.
of your family and take care of your rest. And then if that's really like, if you're going to pray about something and you need to make a decision about something, give yourself a minute to kind of
Mhm.
recoup. And so, yeah, you have to do the aftercare work too.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
I don't want you to skip over how fast the volunteers
Yeah.
got all of that put away Saturday
Seriously,
night.
you're talking like
Like
a
it
month's
was less
worth of
than like
building.
2 hours.
And then
Yeah, it was
like
done.
an
It was thank you
HGTV.
to everybody who
Yeah.
stayed here that night. I mean, because
Time
It-
lapse video.
gosh, yeah,
Yeah,
like
it
it
was
was
fast.
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so impressed.
That's very cool.
Love it. Man, for me, I think there's, like you were saying, there's so much writing on Easter weekend. We know it's a super important weekend just because of what it represents and what we're celebrating.
Yeah.
We know it's really important because we also know that there are going to be people here who
Yeah.
may not go to church the rest of the year.
Any other time.
Literally,
This
you
is
kinda-
when they
this
come,
is
or
your
when they're
one
okay
shot.
with coming, or they've
Yeah.
said they've been bugged by somebody invited them to church for a long time. Okay,
Yep,
fine.
finally.
We'll
I'll
do-
come
we'll do
on
Easter,
Easter,
yeah.
And so this is kind of your one shot. So
Yeah.
there's a lot riding on that. So there's kind of a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And then there's the usual pressure of, okay, there's this eternal, amazing, indescribable concept
Yes.
that I need to communicate to people. And I need
Just
to
a
help them
just a big
understand
deal.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
that it's like it's more important than where we're going to lunch today
Yeah.
and like
So
what I'm
much
going
more,
to do on
yeah.
Monday and even the other big things in my life that I'm consumed with or worried about or focused on. Wait a minute, kind of shake
That's the
people a little bit and
most
go, hey, this is what's
important
going
thing
on.
you could possibly
Yeah.
Yeah.
decide on. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was talking with one of my friends who's a pastor in California, and we were kind of going back and forth about how far we were into our Easter sermons, how close we were to being done. And, I finished first, by the way. He's like, you're just bragging.
It's not a race, but
Yeah.
if it was.
If
Yeah.
it were, because there's it's a relief when you're like, okay,
Definitely.
I think we're done, But I also just said to him, you know what? Yes, we want this to be awesome. Yes, we want to communicate God's word, as powerfully as we can.
Yep.
But at the same time, we do this every week.
Yeah.
We're going to do the same thing we do every week. We're going to talk about the gospel.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about what Jesus has done for us. We're going to talk about this as eternity and the balance. Like, we do this every week. So in a way, it is very different, and the pressure's bigger, and it's just a different. But at the same time, it's just like this is what we do every Sunday.
Yeah.
Eternity's in the balance every Sunday.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
right. That's
that's
right.
so-
Is
that's
that?
right.
Yeah. When it comes to our relationship with Him, and that's the whole even still today concept.
Yeah, right.
It's whatever, however many days after Easter today.
Yeah.
The same thing we talked about last Sunday is the truth.
Still
Right.
true.
That's right.
Today, right
Yep.
now, if you didn't come to that decision last week, it's not too late. It's not,
That's it.
God gave you another day.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's such a important, and it goes to the aftercare thing that you're
Yeah.
pointing out too. Like, we unfortunately don't get to take the next 2 weeks off to whatever recuperate.
Yeah.
So it does take intentional planning and all that stuff. And from my seat, because Easter is once again such a big deal. So a lot of what I do is like the service building, right? So when it comes to Easter Sunday, that service, that weighs on our minds, like my team of Chris and Andrew, Tiffany, and of what it's going to be, what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, and that covers so much ground.
Mm-hmm.
I think we probably had, I don't know, Chris, like 50, 60 volunteers involved around the weekend, somewhere in that range of all the details that need to happen, sort of like cameras and lights and sound things, and then and whatever, all the musicians. We had 12 people on stage, and they're all playing. We had all cool things, all great things,
Right.
all things we're trying to do to make this message of the gospel exciting and grabbing, and I always think of it in the terms of how do we try to elevate the service as we can, as weak as that is,
Right.
to the level of the power of the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get it up to that level to help people understand that this is everything, And so when we do these, what might be thought of like bigger productions or whatever, that's not the point at all. We're not trying to impress anybody or anything. We're trying to make Jesus as famous as possible with all the gifts and the talents and everything we have. We put all the chips on the table. And we go all in on that weekend. And so, that's it. There is a ton of things to do and keep up with and manage and all that stuff. We also have 1,600 people that are going to be here this weekend. How to make sure we stay on time and get them out for the next service. And then when all that's done, we still have to lead the service. And so then we've got to sing, and then we've got to, perform and lots of, but not running out of gas.
Right.
Yeah.
4 services plus the Good Fridays. We did, I think, like 16 songs or something between the two. And so maintaining, and I mean, everybody, like, I don't not do things 100%, especially when it comes to the music and singing and all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So being able to manage that pace. And I told our singers, we were so stacked this weekend on singers, it was ridiculous. Which makes that part easier of being able to, share that load a lot with all the other folks who are so good at what they do. But drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
Like, please make sure you go to sleep tonight. Like,
Yeah.
And I literally drank 3 gallons of water over like Saturday night.
But then you're running to the
to
bathroom
Sunday
every
morning.
2 minutes.
Yeah, that's part of it too. But it's better.
There's no time for the bathroom.
At least I can still talk.
right.
You know?
That's right.
But it is all such a big deal because then you're also trying to eliminate every distraction because you're so worried that one little thing can throw somebody off or whatever. But then remembering that stuff's going to go wrong and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because the power of the Holy Spirit is so
Yeah.
much more than whatever we can. Do we absolutely bring our best and sacrifice? Yeah, absolutely. But also, we're gonna something's gonna fail at some point, and that's okay
it's in
too.
His hands.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
How many times have we said, like, we can put together the most amazing service, the most amazing walkthrough, or the most amazing event, or most amazing sermon. If God doesn't show up,
That's right.
forget it.
Yeah.
That's right.
But at the same time, when God shows up, we can mess it up a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we do.
Which we've proven. We've illustrated time and
Yes,
time
yes,
again.
we.
We can mess
Got
it
that
up all
part
day
down.
long, and if He's in it,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He
That's right.
accomplishes what He wants to do.
Yeah.
That's right.
And which we had 6 baptisms, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And all the way through, right up to the end service, we had somebody respond.
Yeah.
And and truth is, if we did all of those services and all that stuff, and just Drake
Right.
was
Yeah.
the only one,
Right.
Yeah.
it's worth it.
Absolutely.
It's all worth all those things.
Yes.
Carla, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about what we talked a lot about the Easter experience stuff.
Yeah.
And then you still have Easter Sunday
I
and
know,
Saturday to
I
do.
know.
So
My day job. Then I had to do my day job.
and most of us that are probably listening to most of us that are probably listening to this and watching this, they don't know what a current kids service really even looks like. So talk about that a little bit of just what the kids got to.
Yeah.
experience.
So again, poor Jen, who thought that we had Sunday off.
so
That would have
funny.
been so great. We actually had to come in and do the 3 services. We did the 1 on Saturday and 3 on Sunday. So for the elementary kids, Easter Sunday is, this is my philosophy. This is not anything spiritual or great. But on Easter Sunday, on holiday weeks like that, I embrace the crazy.
Yes.
Because they are sugared up. They've had their Easter baskets
They're
for
wired.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Y'all look good.
Yeah.
They all
They know it.
They are in their fancy clothes. So I embrace the crazy, and we just had a party. So
That's
we
awesome.
just had an Easter party with confetti cannons and glow sticks and all the things that make a great party. Worship time, which was awesome. But yeah, we just embrace the crazy.
What
We
songs
just-
did y'all sing?
we did Raise a Hallelujah
Yeah.
because that's the kids' favorite.
Yes.
And I love singing that with the kids. And man, I love being in big church, as I call it, which Chris makes fun of me for. But I love being in big church with the adults. But if you have never sat in a kids' church service
Yep.
and sung the song Raise a Hallelujah with those kids, and I'm surprised the roof is still on this building
Right.
because they sing it.
Yeah.
That's
So we did some of our favorite songs, and then we did a song with the glow sticks, which was super fun. And I told Joel Kane was helping in a couple of the services, and he at the 11:30 service, I came to the back of the room, and I was like, I'm almost out of gas. I had like 2 more things to do at the end of the service. I'm like, I am almost out of gas, and that's how it should be. Like I literally you got to leave it all out there, leave it all there. But it was great fun. We had a great time. Yeah.
That's really great. And in big church, as you said, we did have great services. It was an awesome day. Darren and I were talking yesterday. We covered so much ground.
Yeah.
We started off with this cool bluegrassy rocky thing. Which just the words of that song, starting off the day with "Let me tell you about my Jesus."
Yeah,
That's the whole. That's what we, as people are coming in.
That's what it's about.
Listen, this is what we're gonna do today. We're
Yep.
gonna talk about my Jesus, and I don't know what you signed up for, but that's what you get. So. And what a cool way to just start all those things. And our people who are they're late. I was trying to come up with a good word. But they are our people. Y'all are late people. It's just what it is. So,
Chronologically challenged.
and
That's
there you
right.
go.
I love it.
Chronologically.
I love it. That's good.
But so we did a
That's
sneaky
good.
sneak on them. Started the song early. They hear the music playing. Oh no, it's
get in
starting.
there.
Let's get in there. And amazingly,
Yeah.
people were in there on time. So what that tells me is you're not late getting here. You're late getting into service.
Yeah.
So get your coffee quicker.
Yep.
Yeah.
And anyway,
Yeah.
Well, there was a line at the coffee. I mean,
Well, I believe it.
There was a line.
ever since they started doing the iced coffee
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is great.
People
Kudos
love
to
it.
them.
People love it.
But it takes some precedence
Yes.
sometimes.
So I don't drink coffee normally. I'm not
Yeah.
a really big coffee drinker. And on Sunday morning, Chris Winiger was running tech for me in the services, and she was like, "I'm gonna go grab a coffee. Do I have time?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." I'm like, "Will you grab me an iced coffee?" And she was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm tired.
Just gotta have the
Just
caffeine.
bring me an
Gotta have
iced
something.
coffee."
When my wife told me you had a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
that I was like, "What?"
I actually had
she
2.
didn't. Did you really?
I did.
Wow, that's crazy.
All right.
You never drink coffee.
I
I
was
never
saying,
drink
that's
coffee.
desperate, but
I know.
you do what you got to do.
Yeah,
You
that's
do what you
right.
gotta do.
That's right.
I was running on caffeine and the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
I'm sure people think like I drink Mountain Dew like nonstop. I have it hardwired because most of they see me on Sundays. I'm drinking a Mountain Dew because that's why.
Yeah.
I desperately need, and I can't drink even the iced coffee stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a coffee guy, so Mountain Dew is what it is. And
Yeah.
listen, gets me to the next service. So
There you go.
do what you got to do.
That's right.
The Holy Spirit, ibuprofen, and caffeine.
That's right.
That's,
That's
Yeah.
right.
that's the secret to being able to get through an
That's
Easter
the
Sunday.
cocktail.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a true story. Anyway, but it was really cool. And then the special that we had during communion time
Really, really nice.
with I'm so thankful, Andrew and Becca, who
Yeah.
are both orchestra directors in the Katy community of school district. And they were here with their son who's 2 at 7 in the morning, you know, and he chilled
All
out and ate
weekend
his
long.
kolache, and, you know, yeah, it's the stuff that people, our volunteers do sacrifice a lot. And that's another thing that helps keep me right. It's like, I get paid to do this. And these people are here fully just because they want to.
Just to serve.
Yeah,
That's right.
and it was so great. Yeah, what did what was your thoughts about no pressure? What was your thoughts about the service?
No,
What stuck out, I guess. Is
I
maybe
loved it. I loved the, like you were pointing out, I loved kind of the flow of the service. We did a lot of different things.
Yeah.
From the kind of country bluegrass
Yes.
kind of feel to all the way to the, was that violin and was that bass?
Yeah,
Violin?
yeah.
Okay.
A viola and a double bass.
I'm going to get my instruments right there.
Yeah.
Which added so much to
Yeah.
communion time. So cool. And then kind of some of the songs that we love to sing and worship with normally. And so the combination of all that was really cool. Communion time was excellent. Just a great moment of connecting with each other and with the Lord. And so I just thought it was overall just a really great day. And I also loved and this has been the case for the last 3 Sundays now. The video right before the message that you put together, Jeremiah, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, wrote and spoke, was just amazing. It just set the table so well, right? And I've said for the 3 weeks, it's like the video runs and it's like, I want to go, okay, amen. Like, what else do we need to say?
Yeah.
Because it's just really and so many people have commented about that, how they love it and they can't wait to see it on social media so they can see it again. And so I just thought it was an amazing weekend.
Yeah, it really was. And I mean, I told Jesus there. I wrote those and said those and all that stuff. But it was a very cool thing for me because it absolutely was the Holy Spirit just flowing. Because it was some of the easiest stuff I've ever written. Like it just
That's cool.
right down onto the paper, and it was exactly what he wanted to say. And so anyway, this that last one this last weekend, at the Easter one, I don't usually write from, especially for the church, from that very like personal, like me, I thing. But but I just felt like that. It's in a way, that's my testimony, and that's the. Like I said, I'm not a quiet person. I'm okay with crying. I'm all that stuff, and the good luck getting me to shut up about it thing.
Oh, that's favorite.
Yeah.
Sorry for
That's
shouting.
just who I am. And this is like, listen,
Yep.
sorry for yelling, but
was
this
so
is
great.
how I feel.
Yep.
And I'll say it, it's so genuine, and I realize not everybody's like that, but I will say, if we really consider who Jesus is, what he did for us, I'll say, it ought to make you want to like shout things from the rooftops.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so whatever that looks like, for everybody's got their platforms. Don't be shy about that, because that's the whole. We have this, as you mentioned, the most incredible, powerful message, and it's not like you have the secret key to that.
Nope.
I don't. This isn't. There's nothing inherently special about us or the way we can do it or say it or whatever. If you know Jesus, you have that too, and all you have to do is share what he has done in your life. You don't have to have an apologetics degree. You don't have to have
Thank goodness.
all this stuff, right? Yeah. And I don't got that, that's for sure. But I can tell you what he's done for me.
Yes.
And
I think the I statement, the I, you saying it like coming from your heart, you could tell, because I'm gonna be honest, I heard it a couple of times this weekend, and it wasn't until the last time I was in there, and I got to go into third service on Sunday, and I was with the kids, and I was like, that's Jeremiah. That's Jeremiah. Because I'm thinking we're just hiring these guys. Like, this is a professional doing this. Because that's what it sounded
He's
like.
a professional.
And well, no, you're right. You're right.
paying me at least. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize, and then I was like, oh my, and then it hit harder because
Personal.
it's personal, and it's you say, and I love that. I just loved it. It was really good. That was probably that, and just that my kids were there.
Yeah.
Like all my kids were here this weekend. We're missing one. We're missing one, but she lives kind of far. But all of the other kids were here, and it was great to just be in
that's
service
so
with them.
great.
Like that was awesome. That was
That's
awesome.
very cool.
Yeah, yeah. And I love how you separate. Like you gave a lot of time for communion. It was I can't even remember the last time that all of my kids have been here, and I was able to take communion with them, pray with them. I prayed with them, and it was just I was like. I got to stop because I was going to cry. Like, I mean, I was like, I could have cried the whole service. You know what I mean? Because it was so impactful. Just
Yes.
the whole thing. The whole.
Yeah.
It was good. The whole thing.
Also, being the first Easter we've had it since we've changed our setup in the room.
Yeah.
And we've kind of gotten used to it.
Mhm.
But I know for a lot of people, that was
That
their
was
first
new for a lot of
experience in
people,
this. And man, how it's just great.
Yeah.
It's just really cool.
Yeah.
I will tell a little funny story about this. So Saturday night, my wife, the kids came and sat with her in big church. And Caleb is 7 and does 7-year-old boy things, all the time. And and a lot of times his imagination is going while the reality is going on, And I'm sure you're keenly aware of
Yes.
this. And Kim, my wife,
Your
said,
7-year-old and your 7-year-old together is
No.
a bad combination.
So
yes, they have like mind link.
They
It's
do.
like
unholy alliance.
pastor's kids. What are you gonna do? But so she's like, I love the setup, but it does make me very self-conscious on nights like tonight because Caleb's like, pointing out, and all she can think about is like all these people across the other side that are trying to listen to Darren's sermon. They can see Caleb doing it. Anyway, it's just very funny. It's like I'm sure nobody noticed that, but it's just it is funny how it changes.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I just embrace the crazy.
That's
Like the kids' church, we're just gonna go with the crazy. It doesn't have to be fancy up there.
Anyway,
Because then I had Caleb for 3 services on Sundays.
Yes.
So I got you.
and I will say this: my kids argued with us because they wanted to be in kids' church
Yeah.
for all 4. That's saying something.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's not
Yeah,
because
that's
they
good.
dislike
Yeah.
church or anything. Because they
They
love,
love
It's
their
fun.
church.
yeah, and they're in it. I mean, if all my kids are here for all of them always.
Yeah, they
and
are.
so they absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing I can say about our kids ministry.
That's a
Is
win right there.
our kids are constantly in it and constantly want to be
That's
in
good.
it. It's such a even when apparently the imagination runs a little wild.
It's okay.
But
We embrace the crazy.
yeah, it's good.
You need a shirt.
A lot
that
of it
says
in
that.
there.
I,
Embrace
yeah.
the
You
crazy.
need a
That's
shirt.
true. Well,
We can put it like over the doorway into.
Yes.
Into the sub.
Yes. That's my philosophy on Easter weekend.
Does anybody have any other thoughts? Any other stuff that happened over the Easter weekend that you just wanted to get out that we hadn't talked about yet? I think we covered most of what happened. All the general things. I will say, if you're watching, listening to this, we would love to hear y'all's stories. And so if you have those, send them to our email, to our Instagram DM, whatever. If something happened that you loved, we'd love to hear about that, because a big piece of what keeps us going is hearing the experiences of our people
And how God's moving.
That's
and all that,
exactly right. And we want to hear your wins, the wins that are happening in your family, at your family table, what your kid was doing.
Listen, we
weird
got an
during
email
service
on Monday morning. We got an email from Jeff Taylor, who goes to our church, that he had gone through the Easter experience with his 5-year-old granddaughter, Carmen.
Yeah.
And afterwards, she had drawn a picture, because she can't, write yet, or she didn't have words. And she drew a picture of the empty tomb.
Yeah.
I wish I had a picture I could show you. But it was, the empty tomb, and it had the 3 ladies standing by the tomb. And then there was the angel that was up above, like glowing. And because that was like the thing that
Wow.
impacted her from that. And then he said she was able to retell the whole story to them
That's
as she was like
awesome.
drawing it. So 5-year-old walked
There's a
away.
win.
Yeah.
There's a win for you.
So again, like we love hearing that, because that really
Yes.
encourages us too.
And that it's not just good, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's telling that story in a different, impactful way, and all the ways that we can clearly tell the gospel. Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it in all the ways we can.
Yeah.
The best
That's
way we
right.
can. So, let's wrap up with the best thing you ate this weekend.
Oh my.
Everybody.
Oh.
I didn't stop eating this weekend.
No,
Like,
I don't know that I can.
I think I
choose
gained
one.
like 7 pounds over the weekend, because we're just like we're working, and then you stop to eat just so your body can continue working.
gotta fuel.
And then you just and then eating late at night when you leave here, right?
Well, and not to be fair, he didn't have a refrigerator that worked. In his
I
house.
didn't have a refrigerator, so we were
Tim's
eating
been out of
out.
refrigerator.
That's right,
Sounds
6
sad.
days we've been out of refrigerator. But like we couldn't just go and be like, oh, we're getting yesterday's leftovers. It's
Yeah.
like, no, we're buying something every day. Like so. So we ate all kinds. We ate Mexican food. Me and my wife
Nice.
on Saturday.
Okay, well, hold on though. When
yeah.
you say Mexican food, what did you eat?
What did I eat?
Yeah, like
Oh.
Mexican food covers a lot of ground.
I had a chile relleno.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
What could you explain what that is?
Can you roll your R's that way?
It's a chili relay.
That's right. You got
So-
it.
Can
It's
you
a-
break
it's
that
a-
down for us?
I don't
think
What's
that's right.
It's a re-cooked chili.
I don't think that's
I
right.
mean,
Nice.
I think that's right.
it's close.
Pre-cooked chili.
So mine is between slicing the Easter ham and
Uh-huh.
getting it ready because you have to taste test a little bit.
Well, you
and
don't
it's
want to
just right
serve
out of the
people
oven.
when it's not great.
Yeah, make sure it's
but
not poison.
Also, I would say, yeah. And then
Your
also,
own
I would
food.
say my sister Kara made.
I knew you were going to say this. That's what I was
carrot
going to say.
cake.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let me preface: of all the desserts in the world that I love, and I love a lot of them, I wouldn't go to carrot cake as my first pick.
I mean, it's kind of healthy.
Right?
Kids
Ca-
like
Carrots in it.
Right. Yeah.
But and carrot
As
cake is
desserts
one of those
go.
things. Either it's exceptional or
This
it's
is true.
just
it's
very
like
average.
it's like eating mulch.
Right.
Yeah.
This was exceptional.
She is
It
the
was
best cake maker. I've ever
Exceptional
times.
carrot cake,
Interesting.
and it was delicious. That was one of my.
So for all your carrot cake orders,
yeah,
Carrot Walton.
come see Carrot.
Yep.
She's the best cake maker of all our times, according
All our time.
That's
according
what
to Carrie.
Kerrigan said that.
That's
about her.
awesome.
Kara's the best cake.
All of our time.
Yes.
All of our time. Yeah.
I was actually going to say the other dessert that Kara made,
Yeah, the strawberry.
because I was
Yeah.
invited to have the Easter dinner with the Walter
Yeah.
family, and Kara, Darren's sister, makes this. I don't even know what it is. It's like strawberry heaven, is all
Yeah.
I know. It has like
Right.
strawberry and Cool Whip and Jello,
Nice.
and it's layered, and the crust is like golden Oreos.
Oh, that sounds good.
It was
That's delicious.
That
so
sounds
good.
good.
I had both. I had two pieces
It was
of
so
both.
good.
Well,
And then she
why
sent me
not?
home with some. She was like, "Here, take a Tupperware home."
Yeah.
So I had it for breakfast the next day.
That's
Nice.
right.
When we say aftercare,
That's right.
That's what we're talking about.
Carbs
That's
and sugar.
exactly.
Carbs
this
and
is how we
sugar.
do it, guys.
Yeah.
This is
Yes.
we eat
Yes.
our.
We get the feet up.
We get
and
there.
some carbs and sugar.
So I had a great weekend of food in that. So we were invited over to John and Lexi Fowler had us over for Easter lunch, which was awesome, and we had steak that day.
Okay.
Nice.
Really
Yeah.
great.
Traditional Easter.
Yeah.
steak.
That's right.
I ain't fighting nobody on this.
No.
Right.
Start a new tradition.
I think it's
Steak-
great.
Steak should be a
Chili,
tradition.
chili
right.
relleno, and
Kind
steak.
of even still today. Jesus lives. Every day is steak day.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then my brother and sister-in-law came over with their boys on Monday, and we had steak again.
All right.
Oh, look at that.
So it was a win-win.
Steak weekend.
That's
Yeah.
That's so good.
That's
Hi, steaks.
I like that.
High stakes.
Ah.
Yeah, so it was really good. And then also, my wife made cheesecake, and then
Oh, I love cheesecake.
my daughter made these Oreo ball things.
Yeah.
They're like
Mhm.
crushed Oreo rolled in like white
Cream
chocolate.
cheese. Oh,
and
yeah,
gosh.
I've had those.
It was just
So this is how the other half of the world lives when
Yes.
you got a refrigerator.
Yes.
It's just, it's just
Yes. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry
man.
for you.
Gosh.
Do you have
Need
one
a-
now, man?
We just this morning.
We can
This
take
morning
up,
before I
we can
came
take
over.
up a collection if you want.
Yeah. Do another trivia night.
Yes. Right.
Tim's refrigerator.
Tim's refrigerator.
No, it actually came in this morning. Right before I was leaving to work, the Home Depot truck was pulling
Good
it.
news. Good news.
I don't want, and we don't need to say everybody by name, but I do just want to land with mentioning there was tons of volunteers. And
Tons.
if I could have made this podcast, our whole staff all together
Yeah.
talking about, I would have but we only have so many microphones. But we're gonna have all staff later today, and we're gonna talk about all these other. But we're talking about it from our seats of team leads or whatever. But the truth is, they do. I mean, such an exponential amount of
Amazing.
work and and I say work like real work, real tiring,
Yes.
mental, the focus
Physical.
that it takes, and to walk around all day Sunday with big smiles on everybody's face and take care of everyone and make sure all the guests get where they need to go. And like Tab and Anna, like the whole thing, everything that happened out there was so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Everything at the cafe was wonderful. Everything, the experience. We used that word a lot for this whole weekend, but it was just so great.
Getting the property ready.
Oh my gosh,
We're
it
talking
looked
about
so good.
hundreds of people, thousands of hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
what we're talking
That's
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and it carries through way more than just this weekend because the property still looks great.
Yeah.
And all this momentum rolling out of it, it's still. And if you came, I hope you come back.
Yes,
and
that's
if
right.
it was your first time, because as great as it wasn't that different from what you would experience on a Sunday, on any given Sunday when you come in here. And Kurt Kids is always awesome, and it always looks great in here. And Tab and Anna are always wonderful and happy to see you. And we always sing great music, and students always have a great time. Like, it's, this is just who we are, and it's the culture that our church people have created, and it's a really cool thing to be part of.
Yeah, we couldn't do it without him.
Yes, and
Couldn't do
amen.
it without him.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole aftercare thing would be like hospital or something.
Yes. Yeah. We wouldn't.
Yeah.
There would be no aftercare because there would be no thing.
There'd be no people. You're right. Yeah. So, anyway, it was a great Easter weekend, and I can't wait for the next one. We have a couple things in between. I'm sure, like, next week we'll start talking about Christmas.
Yeah.
That's
That's
right.
right.
It's right. It's coming. It's coming.
Well, basically, then, if anybody's wondering, this is how it works. So we get through Easter. Like a couple weeks later, we start talking about after-school stuff, back to school stuff.
Yeah.
And life group kickoffs, men's and women's.
We
Bible
got summer
studies, all
camp
this
meetings
stuff.
this week.
Yeah.
Summer camp. Yep, exactly.
Camp, yeah.
And then Christmas.
Mhm.
And we're back. And then we're back to Easter. Right? This is our life.
255 days of Christmas or something?
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
255.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
He says it because as if he's planning like in a business way, but it's not true. He's
He's
gonna
loves
put up
Christmas.
his tree next week.
That's right. I don't think he took it down from last year.
250 days is his line. Where he,
Behind schedule.
anyway. Behind schedule. Easter was a little early, so it just pushed me back a little bit.
That's right.
Anyway, great win meeting, guys. Thank you guys for sharing.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you,
all.
Ro.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us for this WIN meeting. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at The WIN Meeting and to subscribe to the Current Christian Church channel on YouTube. We'd also love to hear your wins, so send us a message on our Instagram and share with us some of the ways God is winning in your life.